Zagar flexed his quills in frustration. The invasion of Earth was meant to be a quick and decisive victory. Yet the tenacity of the native inhabitants, the humans, had dragged the invasion on for 5 years. Zagar sat down at his terminal to record his thoughts, one of the few pastimes the Vorzac Empire did not consider frivolous. Of course, recording his thoughts in the humans' trade language, English, would help distract him a bit longer. Normally, many other Vorzac would consider speaking an inferior species language to be borderline heretical, but few would dare question a High Overseer, especially when such pragmatic thinking had allowed Zagar to attain his position in record time. Zagar believed learning another language gave valuable insight to their foe, since learning what words they used to express concepts would often reveal what tactics and strategies they relied on. Additionally, learning their language would be useful for their eventual enslavement, until Vorzaka replaced their native tongue. And the humans had certainly earned the mercy of slavery. Ironically, humanity had originally been marked for extermination, not enslavement. Under the mandates of expansion, pre-FTL species were to be exterminated via glassing, and their precious resources harvested. While humanity certainly fell under this criteria, initial scans of Earth revealed the presence of 27 rare metals, 5 extremely rare metals, and 2 metals previously thought to be unique to only one other planet. Further scans also showed that the humans had not only mined a large portion of these metals, but also used them to construct and power their technology. Fortunately for the humans, this meant glassing the surface of Earth was unacceptable, since it would also rob the Empire of septillions worth of credits and resources. Thus, the Emperor declared a war of... Zagar paused as he thought of the human word. Attrition, as the humans called it. The gradual elimination of humanity, while leaving the resources intact. But this only helped the humans. Zagar's latest visit to the Orbital Rehabilitation Center, hospital to humans, had given him further insight to humanity's tactics, yet also made his predicament all the more complicated. Upon his arrival, Zagar had never seen a hospital with so many wounded Vorzak. The Vorzak were no stranger to inferior species resisting them. Almost all of them did. Yet Zagar could scarcely believe humans alone had caused this. He was partially right. One soldier from Sector 12, Russia, reported his squad landing during the district... Zagar paused again. Nations' winter cycle. Despite their robust physiology, the Vorzak were unprepared for the unforgiving winter. Yet the humans seemed well adapted to it, despite their lack of natural insulation. The soldier's squad was ambushed while on patrol, despite not seeing a single human in the vicinity. In her delirious state, she had sustained a severe head injury. She claimed they were failed upon by ghosts in the snow. Another soldier from Sector 5, Brazil, reported that the humans have fled into a massive jungle and conducted guerrilla warfare, a form of attrition, as their method of resistance. A third soldier from Sector 7 was wounded in a territory called the United States, whose... Zagar struggled to think of the human word, for it did not have a Vorzaka equivalent. Constitution permitted its non-military citizens nearly unrestricted access to weaponry. A common factor among all reports was the sheer variety of tactics employed by the humans: asymmetrical warfare, airstrikes, naval support, snipers to assassinate leadership, geographical advantages, direct assault, feints, diversionary tactics, etc. And yet these were only the soldiers wounded by humans. Another soldier from Sector 9, Burundi, was ambushed by an armoured water-dwelling predator, a crocodile. One from Sector 17, Indonesia, was attacked by a giant... worm? No, snake. A python. That nearly constricted him to death. Others reported predators such as lions and tigers and bears. This was not including non-injurious reports of snakes that spat venom, deep-sea aquatic predators, massive and highly territorial herbivores, insect swarms, parasites, and other horrors. Others still were injured not by humans or creatures, but by natural calamities. Normally, a Vorzac injured outside of combat would be considered a disgrace, but the intensity of Earth's tornadoes and hurricanes and sandstorms were unlike any previously experienced by the Vorzac. Zagar began to understand exactly how the humans were giving the Empire so much trouble. They were survivors, born to a savage planet with danger at every corner, and only the strongest species survive. When nature failed to kill them, humanity's greatest threat became itself. Out of all of the alien languages Zagar had studied, human languages possessed the most direct translations to Vorzaka, an amazing feat considering the Vorzac had been expanding for thousands of years. It seems the humans had independently discovered many established forms of warfare and territorial expansion, all of which they practiced against themselves. Slavery and caste systems had also once been common practice amongst the humans, though it seemed they had long since abandoned them. What Zagar found the most strange, however, was how the human languages also possessed words for tactics and strategies they had yet to demonstrate. Chemical, biological, and nuclear warfare appeared to be familiar concepts to humans, and yet no reports of any such developments against the Vorsec had been received. Historical records even show such methods as having been previously used by humanity. Zagar sat back in his chair. This was precisely what frustrated him most about the Earth expansion. It was not that humans had a single strength to counter, or weakness to exploit. It was that they had multitudes of both. No single strategy would work, given their scornfully efficient adaptability. This didn't even include unpredictable factors like weather or wildlife. Of course, there was still the strange and troubling notion that the humans were intentionally restraining themselves from their most destructive methods. Zagar wondered how many losses it would take before glassing the planet became worth the loss of resources. But then, perhaps there was an alternative option. Humanity had certainly proved themselves useful enough to receive the mercy of slavery, but perhaps they could also be useful in ways other than labor. After all, a species nearly as experienced in warfare as the Vorzac, deviously adaptable and infinitely tenacious, could prove a valuable tool. The mandates of expansion clearly state that only a species with the might to rule deserves to rule, and with the humans as their beasts of war, would the Empire not become much stronger? Zagar turned off his terminal. No inferior species had ever been permitted to serve as soldiers before. To even suggest such a thing would certainly be heresy, even for a High Overseer, a Grand Overseer, or the Supreme Overseer. Only the Emperor himself could suggest such a thing, without question. But for now, it was time to rest. Until the Empire became convinced otherwise, attrition remained the most viable strategy. And this war of attrition was going to last a very long time.